Mira stood in front of the wide glass window of orbital station Delta 9, watching Earth slowly turn below. The planet looked peaceful from up here, so calm, so quiet. But inside her heart, a storm was brewing. It was supposed to be a normal day. She had done this shift hundreds of times. As a technician, Mira was responsible for checking the power lines, air filters, and water systems. Without her work, the whole station could face serious problems. She was good at her job. Fast, careful, and smart. People trusted her. But today, things were different. Today she had her son, Tommy, with her. He was only 5 years old. His short legs ran quickly to keep up with her. His small hands held tightly to her work bag. His eyes were wide, full of wonder as he looked at the floating lights and the moving machines. "Mom," he whispered, "this place looks like a dream." Mira smiled weakly. "Yes, baby, but remember, stay quiet and stay close. We won't be here long." She hadn't wanted to bring him. She knew it was against the rules. But she had no choice. The daycare center on Earth had closed early. Her neighbor who usually helped was sick, and Mira couldn't miss another shift. She needed the credits, every single one of them. Life on Earth was expensive. Food, rent, Tommy's school, it all added up fast. As she moved from one control panel to the next, she tried to hide Tommy behind corners or under her desk. She gave him her tablet and asked him to play quietly. She even brought his favorite cookies to keep him busy. But Delta 9 was not a quiet place. "Hey!" a sharp voice called out across the corridor. Mira froze. Her heart sank. It was Mr. Rel, the station supervisor. He walked toward her, tall and strict, with his hands behind his back. His eyes narrowed as he spotted the boy beside her desk. "What is this?" he asked coldly. "Is that a child?" Mira quickly stepped forward. "Sir, please, I didn't have any other choice today. He's quiet, I swear, just for one shift." "I'll make sure." Mr. Rel raised his hand, cutting her off. "You know the rules, Mira. No children on the station. This is a workplace, not a nursery. What if something happened? What if he pressed the wrong button or touched a live wire?" "He didn't," Mira said softly. "He's just sitting here. He hasn't moved." Mr. Rel didn't listen. "I can't ignore this. This is serious. You've broken protocol." "I'm sorry, but you're done here. You're fired." Mira felt the air leave her lungs. "Fired? Just like that?" "But I've worked here for 6 years," she said. "I've never made a mistake. I train new workers. I've done extra shifts. Please, just a warning. You should have thought about that before bringing a child to a high-risk zone," he said. "I don't make the rules. I follow them. Just like everyone else." Tommy stood up slowly. He had heard everything. He looked up at Mira, confused. "Are we going home now?" he asked. Mira nodded, trying to hold back tears. "Yes, baby. We're going home." Later, Mira packed her things in silence. Her hands moved slowly, tired from the weight of the day. A few workers passed by. Some gave her a sad look. Others didn't meet her eyes. No one said anything. No one stood up for her. In the docking bay, she waited for the next shuttle back to Earth. Tommy sat beside her, swinging his legs and humming a song. He didn't understand what had happened, not fully. But Mira did. She had lost her job, her income, and possibly her future in one afternoon. Because she had chosen to protect her child. Because she was a mother. As the shuttle lifted off, Mira looked back at the station. It had once been her second home. Now it was just a memory. On Earth, things were harder. Mira stayed in a small apartment near the city's edge. The room was small, but clean. She used her last savings to pay rent for 1 more month. Every morning, she looked for jobs, online, in person, anything. But each time, the answer was the same. "You're overqualified. We already filled the position. We can't hire someone with a recent dismissal." Even when she hid what had happened on Delta 9, it didn't help. Space work was a small world. News spread fast that Tommy sat on the floor each day, building small ships out of paper and tape. He still dreamed of stars. Mira dreamed of peace, but peace didn't come. One evening, as she made soup with the last of their vegetables, Tommy asked her, "Mom, why don't you go to space anymore?" Mira paused. "I'm not allowed to," she said gently. "Why?" "Because I brought you with me." He looked down. "Was that bad?" Mira bent down, hugged him tightly, and whispered, "No, baby, it was never bad. Never." That night, after Tommy slept, Mira sat by the window and stared at the sky. Somewhere up there, Delta 9 floated without her. The stars blinked like tiny eyes watching. Waiting. She didn't know it yet, but change was coming. Something or someone was about to rewrite her story. And this time, it would begin with the words, "I was that kid." The days passed slowly for Mira on Earth. Each morning began the same way. She would wake up early, get Tommy ready, and then spend hours searching for a new job. Her hands still remembered the feel of the control panels on Delta 9. Her mind still worked through technical problems before she even saw them. But none of that mattered now. She was no longer a space technician. She was just another jobless name in the system. Tommy, young and full of hope, still believed everything would be fine. He spent his days drawing stars and rockets on old paper. "Mom," he said one morning, "when will we go back to the sky?" Mira smiled sadly. "One day," she said. "We just have to wait." But waiting was hard. Mira had already applied to over 30 jobs, engineering, teaching, even cleaning at small spaceports, but the answers were all the same. "We're not hiring right now. Your station record is complicated. You're a great worker, but we don't want trouble." That last one hurt the most. She was in trouble. She had done her job better than most. Her only mistake was being a mother. Her credits were almost gone. She had stopped buying fresh fruit and only cooked cheap meals now. She sold her old tools online. She even borrowed a little from a neighbor. But she knew it couldn't last much longer. One night, she sat on the couch while Tommy slept on the bed. She stared at her old work badge, Myra Stone, Senior Technician, Delta 9. The badge was scratched and dull now, just like her future. But as she scrolled through job boards again, something caught her eye. It was a simple ad, glowing faintly on the screen. Starlight Research is opening a new lunar lab. Now hiring engineers, builders, and support crew. Families welcome. Apply today. Mira blinked. Families welcome? That was rare, almost unheard of. She read it again. The company name was unfamiliar, Starlight Research. But the offer seemed real. The website showed pictures of a new base being built on the moon. Modern, safe family housing units beside workstations. Schools for children. Even a medical bay. It felt impossible. Too good to believe. She clicked the apply button anyway. The application was simple. Mira filled out her history, experience, and a short message. "I want to work again. I want to feel useful. I want to be a part of something that welcomes people like me who are parents, but also workers." She didn't expect a reply, but the next morning, her inbox had a message. "Dear Mira, thank you for your application. We would like to invite you to an interview at our Earthside office. Time, tomorrow 2 p.m. Location, Starlight Tower, Skyview. District, please bring your child. Hiring team, Starlight Research." Mira read the message 3 times. Her hands shook. She looked at Tommy, still sleeping, and whispered, "We're going together." The next day, Mira wore her cleanest shirt and fixed her hair. Tommy wore his small blue jacket and clutched his rocket drawing. They boarded a Skytram that flew over silver buildings and green parks. Skyview District looked like another world. Clean, bright, and quiet. Starlight Tower stood tall and round, like a column of light. As they entered the lobby, a woman smiled. Warmly, "You must be Mira," she said. And this is Tommy? Tommy nodded shyly. I'm Lena, the assistant manager. Come with me. The building was simple but elegant. Soft lights, wide halls, and clear glass walls. Mira was taken to a small room with white chairs and a round table. Lena offered juice to Tommy and gave him a tablet to play with. Then she turned to Myra. We've read your file. Your experience is excellent. And we admire your honesty. Mira blinked. You know about Delta 9? Lena smiled. We know. We also know the system is unfair. That's why Starlight exists. We want to build something new, something human. Mira felt something inside her melt. No one had ever said those words to her before. Lena handed her a small data pad. You passed the technical review. Now the next step. Our director would like to meet you. Mira looked up, surprised. Director? Why would someone that high want to meet me? Lena only smiled again. He asked for you by name. They waited in a large glass office. Tommy stared at the moon model spinning in the center. Mira sat stiffly, trying to stay calm. A door opened. A man walked in, tall, clean-shaven, about 35 years old. His eyes were sharp but kind. He wore a simple jacket, no tie, no badge. Just a quiet confidence, Mira, he said, with a soft smile. It's been a long time. Mira stood, confused. I'm sorry. Do we know each other? The man looked at Tommy, then back at her. You may not remember me, but I remember you very clearly. Mira's eyebrows drew together. I was a child, he said, on Delta 9. My mother worked on the same shift as you. One day I wandered away, got lost near the wiring tunnels. I was scared. You found me. You sat with M.A., gave me water and a snack. You told me it would be okay. You stayed until my mom came. He paused. You were fired the next week. No one told me why. But I never forgot you. Myra's mouth opened slightly. She remembered that boy. Small, scared, crying in the corner. She had only wanted to help. That was you? The man nodded. Yes, my name is Nico. I'm the founder of Starlight. Silence filled the room. Nico smiled. You helped me once. Now it's my turn. Mira couldn't speak for a moment. Her eyes were wide with surprise. The man standing in front of her, the head of Starlight Research, the founder of this growing space company, was the same little boy she had once helped long ago. Nico smiled. Gently. I never forgot what you did. I was lost, crying and scared. You gave me your food and stayed with me, even when others walked past. You didn't treat me like a problem. You treated me like a person. Mira sat down slowly, still trying to understand what was happening. You were just a child, she said softly. I didn't know I made such a big difference. You did, Nico said. Sometimes one small act of kindness can change someone's whole future. He looked at Tommy and smiled. Just like you're doing now. Tommy waved politely, unsure who this man really was. But he could tell his mother was happy and surprised. Nico walked around the room, speaking in a calm and friendly voice. After my mother left Delta 9, I was placed in a family care program. I kept thinking about the people who treated me well, and those who didn't. He paused at the window, looking out at the city below. When I got older, I studied space, design, engineering, and management. But I didn't just want to build machines. I wanted to build a company that respected people. Not just workers, but humans, with families, with stories. That's why Starlight was born. Mira listened quietly. She had heard many company speeches before, but this one felt different. This wasn't just about business. It was about purpose. I'm offering you a position, Nico said. Senior systems technician at our lunar lab. We're building a new base on the moon, a place where scientists, builders, and families can live together. Mira blinked. Are you sure? I mean, after what happened on Delta 9, Nico smiled again. That's exactly why I'm sure. We need people like you. People who know how to fix machines and care for others. Your skills are excellent. Your experience is rare. And most of all, you understand what it means to balance work and life. He handed her a small tablet. It showed position, Senior Technician, Lunar Base Alpha location, Moon Sector 3, a housing, family unit included school, on-site learning center for children, start date, 2 weeks. Mira stared at the screen. She felt like she was dreaming. You'll have your own quarters, Nico continued. Tommy will go to school on the base. And you'll be part of something new, something better than what came before. Tears filled Myra's eyes. She had been rejected, ignored, and pushed aside for months. Now, suddenly, someone believed in her. Not just because of her work, but because of who she was. I don't know what to say, she whispered. Say. Yes, Nico said. And join us. Mira looked at Tommy, who smiled and nodded. Can I go to the moon too, Mom? She laughed softly, wiping her eyes. Yes, baby. We're going together. The next 2 weeks moved quickly. Starlight sent a care package with everything they needed: clothes, supplies, travel instructions. Mira went through a short training program with other new recruits. Some had children too, and for the first time, she felt normal, not like a problem. The company even arranged a small farewell party in their neighborhood. People were curious, some excited, some shocked. Mira didn't mind. She was focused on the future. On launch day, the sky was clear and blue. Mira and Tommy wore matching white travel suits with the Starlight logo on the arm. As they boarded the shuttle, Mira looked back at Earth one last time. She didn't feel scared. She felt ready. The shuttle rose smoothly, the ground slowly shrinking below. Tommy pressed his face against the window, pointing at clouds and oceans. Is that where we lived? He asked. Yes, Mira said. And now we're going somewhere new. Hours later, the shuttle landed on the moon. The landing base was quiet, clean, and full of gentle lights. Staff members greeted them with warm smiles. Welcome to Lunar Base Alpha, one said. Mira stepped out and felt the soft pull of reduced gravity. Tommy laughed as he bounced slightly with each step. They were given special boots and a map. Their new home was just a short walk away, a small white building with a round roof. Inside, it was simple but perfect. 2 beds, a kitchen, soft lights, and a window facing the earth. Tommy ran to the window and shouted, I can see the whole world, Mira smiled. And now the world can see us too. The next day, Mira began her work. The lunar lab was amazing: clean energy systems, smart air filters, and voice-activated tools. She met a team of skilled engineers, all respectful and kind. No one looked down on her. No one asked why she had a child. They just worked together, helping each other. During lunch breaks, she visited Tommy's school. It was a bright room with learning screens, floating storybooks, and teachers who treated the children with care. Tommy made friends quickly and began telling stories about his journey to the moon. One evening, Mira stood on the observation deck, staring at Earth in the distance. Nico joined her quietly. Is everything how you expected? He asked. It's better, she said. It's peaceful and fair. Nico nodded. We're just getting started. There will be more bases, more families, more chances. Mira turned to him. Thank you for remembering, for giving me this chance. He smiled. You gave it to me first. They stood there in silence, watching the stars. The same stars Mira once thought she'd never touch again. But now she had found her place among them. The sun was not real on the moon. It came from special lights placed on the surface. But every morning, when the warm glow filled the lunar base Alpha, it felt like sunrise. Mira woke up early, just as she always did. She checked the systems, dressed in her soft space uniform, and quietly prepared breakfast. Tommy was still asleep, holding his favorite moon-shaped pillow. His days were now full of learning, playing, and exploring. He laughed more than he ever did on Earth. Mira took a deep breath and smiled. For the first time in a long while, life felt peaceful. At work, Mira joined her team in the control room. Everyone was busy checking oxygen levels, power lines, and water recycling. The base was growing every week. More families, more workers, and more machines. Mira was one of the most trusted technicians. Whenever something broke or blinked red, people called her first. That day, she was fixing a sensor near the communication tower when she received a message on her wrist device. Director Nico requests your presence at the Garden Dome. Mira wiped the dust from her gloves and blinked. The Garden Dome was a quiet place, filled with green plants and air that smelled fresh. It was where people went to relax and think. She hadn't been there in weeks. When she reached the dome, Nico was already there, standing near a tall tree with silver-green leaves. He wore his usual simple jacket, not looking like a CEO but more like a friend. "Hello, Mira," he said warmly. "Hello, sir," she replied politely. Nico laughed lightly. "Please, no need for sir. You helped build this place. We're equals here." Mira smiled and sat down on the smooth bench beside him. For a few moments, they sat in silence, listening to the soft hum of air and the quiet rustle of leaves. Then Nico spoke. "I was watching you work this morning. You've done more than we expected in such a short time." "Thank you," she said. "It feels good to be useful again." Nico nodded. "Do you remember the day we first met on Delta 9? Mira looked at him carefully. "You were lost near the wiring tunnels. You were crying." "Yes," Nico said. "You found me, gave me water, and waited with me until my mother came." Mira chuckled gently. "You were wearing a red cap with a broken rocket patch." Nico laughed. "You remember." "I do. I also remember how scared you looked." "I was scared," Nico admitted. "But more than that, I was lonely. My mother worked long shifts. I barely saw her. That day, you didn't treat me like a problem. You talked to me. You shared your lunch. I never forgot that." He paused, his eyes thoughtful. "You know, after you got fired, my mother tried to find out what happened to you, but no one would tell her. You just disappeared." Mira nodded. "They didn't want trouble, and I didn't have power to fight it." Nico looked at her with deep respect. "That wasn't fair. And that's why I created Starlight." He stood up and walked slowly between the plants. "After I grew up, I promised myself that if I ever got the chance to build something, I would build it for people like you. People who care. People who are strong and kind, even when no one is watching." He turned to face her. "Starlight isn't just a company. It's a message that kindness matters, that families matter, and that a good worker is more than a list of skills." Mira's eyes filled with quiet tears. Not because she was sad, but because someone had finally seen her. Not just her work, but her heart. "Thank you," she said softly. "No one has ever said that to me." Nico walked back to the bench and sat beside her again. "There's more," he said. "We're planning a new expansion. A second lunar lab, deeper into the moon. We need leaders. People we can trust. I want you to be part of the design team." Mira blinked. "Me? Are you sure?" "I'm sure," he said. "You've proven yourself. And I know you understand what this place should feel like." Mira nodded slowly. "That I accept. I'll do my best." After the meeting, Mira returned to her quarters with a full heart. She found Tommy sitting on the floor, building a tower with magnetic blocks. "Guess what?" she said. "What?" he asked, eyes wide. "We might be building another base soon. And I'm going to help lead the team." Tommy jumped up and clapped. "Will there be more kids?" "Lots of them." "Will there be trees like the Garden Dome?" "Even bigger." Tommy smiled brightly. "Then I want to go too." That night, as Myra lay in bed, she stared at the ceiling. It looked like soft glass, showing the stars above. She thought of the long road that brought her here from being fired, forgotten, and alone, to now being valued, trusted, and heard. Nico had remembered her kindness. And now, because of that memory, he had changed the path for many others like her. The next morning, she joined a special meeting with the design team. Architects, builders, scientists, and now Mira. Everyone welcomed her like an old friend. They began planning the next lunar base. Mira suggested ideas for family rooms, safe learning spaces, and smart emergency zones. Her ideas were accepted. Quickly, people respected her voice. After the meeting, she saw a message appear on her screen. Your proposal for shared work school scheduling has been approved. All children will now have flexible learning hours based on parent shift times. Mira smiled wide. That simple change would help so many families. Outside the dome, she saw Nico speaking to a group of new workers. He looked calm, confident, and hopeful, a real leader. But Mira knew he was still that child inside, the one who had been scared and then helped. The one who chose to turn memory into mission. And now, because of that, Mira was helping build a future where no parent had to choose between work and love. Where no child had to feel like a problem, and where kindness was not forgotten but honored. The days at Lunar Base Alpha passed peacefully. Mira's life, once filled with worry, now moved with purpose. Every morning, she walked with Tommy to the learning center. After a warm goodbye hug, she would begin her shift with the systems team. Her job was full of tasks: checking oxygen levels, repairing filter units, running safety checks, but she never felt tired. She felt needed. Mira had earned the respect of her team. Whether someone was new or experienced, they listened to her ideas. She spoke clearly, worked with care, and treated everyone kindly. She had become one of the most trusted names at the base. Even better, Tommy was thriving. He was learning about planets, stars, and even how to grow plants in space soil. Every evening, he returned home with bright eyes and stories to share. "Mom," he said one night, running through the door, "I helped plant moon carrots today. They grow sideways." Mira laughed. "Did you ask the carrots why?" "No," he said, grinning. "They were too busy growing." One afternoon, Mira was in the control hub, reviewing pressure levels in the storage dome, when an alert blinked red on the screen. A soft alarm rang through the room. "Warning! Oxygen drop detected, Sector 2B. Mira stood at once. "Team, let's move. Possible leak." Her team followed quickly. They reached Sector 2B, where a new group of builders had just finished installing support beams. Mira scanned the system with her portable device. The numbers weren't good. Oxygen was leaking slowly, but steadily. If not fixed soon, it could become dangerous. She called the command center. "Activate backup seal on 2B. Begin pressure lockdown. I'm checking the pipe junction now." Mira found the damaged pipe. It had a small crack, likely from a sharp tool hitting it during installation. She opened her toolkit and worked fast, sealing the crack with a special patch. Her hands were steady, her mind focused. Within 15 minutes, the alarm stopped. The oxygen levels returned to normal. "Great work, Mira," one of the engineers said. "You saved us again." She smiled, wiping her gloves. "Just doing my job." Later that day, Mira received a message. "Director Nico would like to meet you in the Central Observatory." Mira made her way to the tall dome at the heart of the base. The observatory was a quiet place, filled with large windows showing Earth, stars, and the endless black sky. Inside, Nico was standing alone, looking out into space. "You fixed it," he said as she entered. "Yes," she replied. "It was a small crack, but it could have turned serious. You acted fast." "No panic, no delay," Mira nodded. "I've learned to stay calm. Especially in space, it matters." Nico turned to her. "You've become one of the most dependable leaders on this base. Everyone sees it." Mira was quiet for a moment. I'm just thankful to be here after everything I went through. I never expected a second chance. Nico walked slowly toward a nearby table and picked up a small silver pin shaped like a star. "This is for you," he said, handing it to her. "It's not official yet, but we're creating a new rank mission guardian. For those who go beyond duty, who protect both systems and people." Mira looked at the pin. It felt light in her hand, but heavy with meaning. "You're the first to receive it," Nico said. "You don't just fix machines, you help hold this place together." She held the pin close and smiled. "Thank you. I'll wear it with pride." The next week was filled with energy. News of Mira's award spread across the base. Other workers felt inspired. Some even shared stories of how Mira had helped them settle in, fix old problems, or simply listened when they needed someone. Tommy told his classmates, "My mom's a guardian now, she saves air." His teacher laughed gently and replied, "Yes, she really does." That weekend, the base held a small celebration in the main hall. People brought food, music played softly, and laughter filled the air. It wasn't a grand event, but it felt special. Mira stood near the center, wearing her new star pin. Nico gave a short speech. There was a time when this woman was pushed out, forgotten for being a mother at work. But today, she stands here. Not just as a mother, not just as a worker, but as a symbol of what this company believes in: fairness, respect, and second chances. People clapped, and Mira felt her cheeks grow warm. She looked at Tommy, who was cheering the loudest. After the event, many workers came to her to shake her hand. "You give me hope," said one young father. "I never thought a place like this could exist," said a single mother who had just joined. Mira smiled at each of them. "It's real, and it's just the beginning." That night, Mira and Tommy returned to their unit. Tommy sat at the window, looking at the stars. "Mom," he said, "do you think I can work in space when I grow up?" Mira sat beside him. "You can do anything you want. Even be the boss?" She laughed. "Even that?" Tommy thought for a moment. "Then maybe I'll build a station with candy walls and rocket beds." Mira smiled. "Just remember to make space for kids and their parents." "I will," he said proudly. Mira lay in bed, holding the star pin in her hand. She thought about the long road from Delta 9 to here. She remembered the sadness, the fear, the rejection. But she also remembered the moment Nico walked into that room and said, "I was that kid." That one sentence had changed everything. It wasn't just a second chance for her. It was a second chance for others like her. For every worker who had once been told they didn't belong. Now she knew they did belong. And she would make sure they never forgot it. Weeks passed, and Lunar Base Alpha grew busier with each day. New workers arrived from Earth. Supplies came on cargo ships. Children laughed in the halls of the learning center. Life on the moon was no longer just work, it was becoming a true home. Mira had become a key part of that home. Her new title, Mission Guardian, was not just a name. It meant leadership, trust, and responsibility. People came to her for help, advice, and training. Mira guided both machines and people with calm and care. Tommy continued to grow in his own little world of curiosity and dreams. He built small models of spaceships and drew his own maps of the moon. One day, he placed a star sticker on Mira's badge for extra power. He whispered. One evening, as Mira walked back to her room after work, she passed the observation deck. The glass dome showed a perfect view of Earth, glowing blue and white in the distance. A quiet voice called to her. "Mira," Nico said. He was already inside, standing near the curved window. The stars reflected in his eyes. "I have something to show you," he said. Curious, Mira stepped closer. Nico tapped on a screen, and a 3D image appeared, a design of a new lunar base. It was larger than Alpha, with wide rooms, larger family units, and green zones for plants and rest. "This is the next step," Nico said. We're calling it Lunar Base Hope. Mira studied the image. It looks beautiful. It will be, Nico said. But we need someone to lead the design and safety systems. Someone who understands both the tech and the people. He turned toward her with a smile. I want you to lead that team. Mira was quiet. Her heart beat faster. That's a big job. You're ready, Nico said simply. You've already proven it. She looked at the screen again. She saw children running through the green zones. She saw families working and resting together. She saw a place where no one would feel like a burden for caring about their child. She nodded. Yes, I'll do it. Planning for Lunar Base Hope began. The next day, Mira worked with architects, engineers, and school planners. She gave suggestions no one else had thought about, like soft steps for small children, private rooms for sick family members, and quiet corners for tired workers. Everyone listened to her. During lunch breaks, she would meet Tommy in the small garden dome. They would sit together on a stone bench and watch the plants sway gently in the air system's breeze. Mom, Tommy said one day, will the new base have a playroom with stars on the ceiling? Mira smiled. It will now. One afternoon, while Myra was reviewing the new base's emergency system design, an urgent message flashed across her screen. Meteor activity detected. Debris expected near Sector 4. Prepare all safety units. Mira stood quickly. Team, this is real. Lockdown protocols now. The entire base moved into action. Workers in outer zones returned to the center. Families were guided into secure shelters. Mira and her team checked every pressure system, airlock, and energy line. Then the base shook. Just a little, but enough to feel it. A small piece of meteor had hit the outer shield. Nothing too serious, but enough to test the systems. Mira ran a full check. One air filter unit showed signs of failure. She grabbed her toolkit and rushed out with 2 crew members. They reached the unit just in time. It was about to overheat. Mira used her calm voice to guide her team, and within minutes, they had replaced the part. Great job, she said. Let's keep moving. By the time the alarm stopped, everything was safe again. After the emergency, Nico called a meeting. I want to thank everyone, he said to the gathered staff. And I want to especially thank Mira. Her fast actions and planning protected this base again. Everyone clapped. Mira stood quietly, proud but humbled. Tommy watched from the back with his teacher and whispered, That's my mom. Later that night, as Mira sat by the window in her room, Tommy came and sat beside her. He placed a small drawing in her lap. It showed a smiling woman with a star on her shirt, standing under a sky full of moons and stars. Next to her was a small boy holding her hand. Is that us? She asked. Tommy nodded. You're the best space mom ever. Mira hugged him tightly. The next morning, Mira joined a video call with a group of new hires on Earth. They were going to join the new lunar base project. One woman on the screen had her child sitting beside her, just like Mira once had. I was worried about bringing my daughter, the woman said. I didn't want to be rejected. Mira smiled. You're not just welcome, you're needed. Starlight was made for people like you. You're not alone anymore. The woman smiled back, her eyes full of hope. Later that day, Mira checked on the progress of Base Hope's first building. The foundation had started. Machines moved quietly in the distance. Robots lifted steel beams. And nearby, a few families walked through the safe zones, looking around with wonder. Mira stood beside Nico. This is the future, he said. She nodded. A future built from second chances and kindness, he added. Mira looked up at the stars. We left Earth to find new life. But I think the best thing we found was a new way to live. Nico looked at her with respect. You helped make that happen. That night, Tommy and Mira sat in their small room, lights dimmed, stars shining above. Mom, Tommy whispered, what comes after the stars? Mira thought for a moment. More stars, she said, and people like us who keep going. The sun was low on the lunar horizon, casting a soft orange glow across the new buildings of Lunar Base Hope. Mira stood on the observation deck, holding Tommy's hand tightly. The base was alive with energy, families moving into their homes, workers assembling the final modules, and children laughing in safe play areas. Mira's heart swelled with pride. From the moment she was fired at Delta 9, she had dreamed of a place like this, a home where workers and their children could live and grow together without fear or judgment. And now, thanks to her hard work and Nico's vision, that dream was real. "Mom," Tommy said, tugging gently at her sleeve, "look. The Earth looks so small from here." Mira smiled and pointed to the bright blue ball hanging in the sky. "It does, but it's still home." Tommy looked up at her. "Will I ever live there again?" Mira thought about this. "Maybe someday. But right now, this is our home. And it's full of people who care about us." As they walked toward the family housing, Mira's mind traveled back to the day she was fired, the fear, the shame, and the loneliness. How easily she could have given up, but something inside her didn't let her. She remembered the scared boy she had helped on Delta 9, and the man who had become her new boss, Nico, the boy who once was lost, and now was leading a new future. That evening, Mira attended a meeting with the leadership team. They were discussing the future of Starlight and the expansion of lunar colonies. Mira's voice was clear and confident as she spoke about the importance of family-friendly policies. "We cannot build a future in space without building it for everyone," she said. "That means creating safe spaces for children, flexible work schedules, and support systems for parents." Nico nodded in agreement. Mira has been a guiding light for us all. Her experience, both as a technician and as a mother, shows us what truly matters. The team applauded. Mira felt warmth spread inside her chest. This was more than a job. It was a mission. After the meeting, Mira returned to her quarters. Tommy was waiting by the window, looking out at the stars. "Mom," he said softly, "thank you for bringing me here." Mira knelt down and hugged him. "Thank you for being brave with me," Tommy smiled. "I want to help others like you helped me." Mira's eyes filled with tears. "You already are." Days turned into weeks, and Lunar Base Hope grew stronger. Mira continued to lead the design team, working with engineers to improve safety and comfort. She helped train new workers, always reminding them that kindness was just as important as skill. One morning, a group of children came to visit the control room. They wore bright uniforms and carried notebooks. Mira knelt down to speak with them. "Do you want to be astronauts someday?" she asked. The children nodded excitedly. "Good," she said. "Remember, no matter where you go, always help others. That's what makes a true space explorer." The children cheered. One day, Nico invited Mira to a quiet corner of the base. He handed her a small box. Inside was a medal, a silver star with the words, "For courage, kindness, and leadership." "This is for you," Nico said. "Not just for the work you've done, but for the heart you've shown." Mira accepted the medal with a smile. "I couldn't have done it without you." "We did it together," Nico replied. "Because of people like you, the future of space belongs to all of us." That night, Mira and Tommy looked at the stars once more. Tommy held his mother's hand tightly. "Mom," he whispered, "I want to tell everyone our story." Mira smiled. "You will, and it will inspire many." The stars twinkled above, as if listening. Years later, stories of Mira's courage and kindness were told across the solar system. She became a symbol of hope for working parents everywhere. Lunar bases grew in number, all built with care for families and individuals. Mira watched her son grow into a confident young man, ready to explore the stars himself. She knew that her journey from being fired to becoming a leader had paved the way for others. And that legacy of kindness would never be forgotten.